Ever feel like your wallet's getting lighter every time you step out the door? Well, you're not imagining things. Today, we're diving into the 10 U.S. states that will rob you blind. These are the states where everything costs more. You know, the ones with the highest real estate prices, the steepest taxes, and fees for just about everything, from parking tickets to car registrations. It's like they're looking for ways to nickel and dime you at every turn. Number 10. Oregon. Oregon, renowned for its breathtaking landscapes and progressive culture, is also notorious for its high living costs. Residents face a hefty financial burden. Oregon's tax structure can be a significant burden on residents. The state has no sales tax, but it compensates with high income taxes. Oregon's top income tax rate is among the highest in the country, reaching up to 9.9%. The cost of living in Oregon is well above the national average. Cities like Portland and Eugene are particularly expensive, with everyday expenses such as groceries, healthcare, and utilities costing more than in many other parts of the country. Housing is one of the most significant expenses for Oregon residents. The median home price in Portland, for instance, exceeds $580,000, making homeownership a challenge for many. Renting is not much easier, with high demand driving up rental prices. To live comfortably in Oregon, a single person needs to earn around $110,032 per year, which equates to about $52.90 per hour. For a family of four, the required income is significantly higher, reflecting the higher costs associated with raising children. 9. Alaska. Sure, it's a nature lover's paradise, but Alaska also comes with some serious costs. Groceries here, about 42% more expensive than the lower 48 states. And those long, cold winters, they'll drive your heating bills 70% higher than the national average. Everyday items like fresh produce can really take a bite out of your wallet. Then there's the cost of utilities. The long, freezing winters demand constant heating. In fact, heating bills here are a whopping 73% higher than the national average. And when it comes to housing, prices in Alaska vary. Homes in cities like Anchorage or Juneau tend to be more expensive. As of early 2022, the median list price was $392,000. That's 177% above the national average. So while the state's natural beauty is unmatched, buying a home can be quite the challenge. Now, the good news, Alaskans do earn a little more, with an average income that's 10% higher than the national average, around $59,900. But even with that bump, it's still hard to keep up with the high cost of living. Alaska doesn't have a state income tax or sales tax. Plus, residents get a dividend from the state's permanent fund. In 2019, that was $1,606 per person, a share of Alaska's oil revenue. It's a nice bonus, but it doesn't completely offset those hefty living expenses. 8. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, is known for its rich history, cultural diversity, and political significance. However, living in the district comes with a high price tag. The high taxes, cost of living, and housing expenses can be overwhelming for many residents. Washington, D.C. has a progressive income tax structure, with rates ranging from 4% to 10.75%. Additionally, the city imposes a 6% sales tax and a 0.57% property tax rate on owner-occupied housing. These taxes can significantly reduce residents' disposable income, making it challenging to save or invest. The cost of living in Washington, D.C. is considerably higher than the national average. Everyday expenses such as groceries, healthcare, and utilities are more expensive, especially in the city's more affluent neighborhoods. The high cost of living is reflected in the housing market, where the median home price is around $651,920, and the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment is approximately $2,381 per month. To live comfortably in Washington, D.C., a single person needs to earn around $99,924 per year, while a couple would need to earn a combined $275,642. These figures are based on the MIT Living Wage Calculator, which takes into account the cost of housing, food, transportation, medical care, and other essential expenses. 7. Maryland. One of the biggest financial burdens for Maryland residents comes in the form of taxes. While Maryland's actual tax burden sits at 99.3%, it ranks 12th in the nation, meaning there are states with higher burdens, but that's little comfort for those feeling the pinch. The range of taxes residents face, everything from state income tax to property tax, ensures that the cost of simply living in Maryland adds up quickly. It's not just a matter of earning a paycheck. It's about trying to keep as much of it as possible. The financial strain doesn't stop there. Maryland's cost of living is famously high, particularly when it comes to housing. In places like Baltimore and the sprawling D.C. suburbs, the price of a home can be staggering. The median home price across the state hovers around $493,000, but that's only a starting point. If you're looking to buy a house in or around the D.C. area, you might need to tack on several $100,000 more. For many, scraping together the funds for a mortgage, property taxes, and all the added expenses of home ownership in Maryland is a monumental challenge. Renting isn't much of a reprieve either. The cost of housing has led to an environment where it's easy to find yourself overburdened by rent or mortgage payments. The average person needs to earn around $97,000 annually just to live comfortably in Maryland. If you're near the nation's capital, that number might need to be closer to double. But even as housing prices soar, residents face a host of other financial pressures. 6. Connecticut. To live comfortably in Connecticut, a single person needs to earn around $48,000 per year, while a family of 4 would need to earn approximately $87,755 per year. These figures take into account the cost of housing, food, transportation, medical care, and other essential expenses. Connecticut has one of the highest tax burdens in the United States, with a state income tax rate that can reach up to 6.99%. Additionally, the state imposes a 6.35% sales tax and a 1.78% property tax rate on owner-occupied housing. These taxes significantly reduce residents' disposable income, making it challenging to save or invest. The cost of living in Connecticut is considerably higher than the national average. Everyday expenses such as groceries, healthcare, and utilities are more expensive, especially in affluent areas like Fairfield County. The high cost of living is reflected in the housing market, where the median home price is around $448,201, and the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment is approximately $1,592 per month. Number 4. New Jersey. New Jersey, often celebrated for its diverse communities and proximity to major urban centers like New York City and Philadelphia, also ranks among the states with the highest cost of living in the U.S. Taxation in New Jersey is notably burdensome. The state has some of the highest property taxes in the nation, averaging around 2.42% of a home's value. In addition to this, residents face a progressive state income tax that can reach up to 10.75% for high earners. These taxes can significantly diminish disposable income, making it harder to save or invest. Housing is a significant financial burden for many New Jersey residents. The median home value is approximately $540,000, and rental prices are equally steep, with the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in cities like Hoboken and Jersey City often surpassing $2,500 per month. This high demand, driven by the state's desirable location and amenities, exacerbates the cost of housing. To live comfortably in New Jersey, a single person needs to earn around $56,000 annually, while a family of 4 would require approximately $120,000 per year. These figures account for the cost of housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and other essentials. 4. Massachusetts. Housing costs are one of the most significant expenses for Massachusetts residents. The median home value in Boston, for instance, is around $752,000, while the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment exceeds $2,900 per month. This high demand for housing, driven by the state's educational and economic opportunities, further exacerbates the cost. This state, particularly in areas like Boston and Cambridge, imposes a hefty financial burden on its residents due to high taxes, elevated housing costs, and overall living expenses. To live comfortably in Massachusetts, a single person needs to earn around $70,000 per year, while a family of four would require approximately $135,000 annually. These figures take into account housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and other essential expenses. The tax structure in Massachusetts is a significant factor contributing to the financial strain. The state imposes a flat income tax rate of 5%, coupled with a 6.25% sales tax. Property taxes are also considerable, with rates varying across different cities and towns, further reducing disposable income and making it challenging for residents to save or invest. 3. New York. Taxation in New York is notably burdensome. The state imposes a progressive income tax rate that can reach up to 10.9% for high earners, among the highest in the nation. Additionally, residents face a 4% state sales tax, and local sales taxes can bring the total up to around 8.875% in areas like New York City. Property taxes, while varying across regions, also contribute significantly to the overall tax burden, further reducing disposable income. Housing costs are a significant financial burden for many New Yorkers. In New York City, the median home value exceeds $750,000, and rental prices are equally steep, with the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment often surpassing $3,000 per month. This high demand, driven by the city's allure and opportunities, exacerbates the cost of housing. To live comfortably in New York, a single person needs to earn around $82,637 annually, which translates to about $39.73 per hour. For a family of four, the required income is much higher, reflecting the additional costs associated with raising children and maintaining a household in such an expensive state. 2. California. The cost of living in California is substantially higher than the national average. Everyday expenses such as groceries, healthcare, and utilities come at a premium, particularly in major urban areas like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. The state's appeal and amenities come at a steep price. Housing costs are among the most significant financial burdens for Californians. The median home value in San Francisco, for example, exceeds $1.3 million, while in Los Angeles, it is around $800,000. Renters also face high costs, with the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in San Francisco often surpassing $3,500 per month. This high demand for housing, driven by the state's desirable location and economic opportunities, exacerbates the cost. To live comfortably in California, a single person needs to earn around $78,000 per year, while a family of four would require approximately $164,000 annually. These figures account for housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and other essential expenses. The state's tax structure is a significant factor contributing to the high cost of living. California has one of the highest state income tax rates in the country, reaching up to 13.3% for high earners. In addition to income tax, residents pay a sales tax rate that can go up to 10.25% in certain areas, further diminishing disposable income. Hawaii. To live comfortably in Hawaii, a single person needs to earn around $122,000 per year, which translates to about $60 per hour. For a family of four, the required income is significantly higher, reflecting the additional costs associated with raising children and maintaining a household in such an expensive state. Housing costs are among the most significant financial burdens for Hawaii residents. The median home value in Honolulu, for instance, exceeds $850,000, while the median rent for a one-bedroom apartment is around $2,300 per month. The high demand for housing, driven by the state's desirable location and limited land availability, further exacerbates the cost. The tax structure in Hawaii significantly impacts residents' finances. The state imposes a progressive income tax rate that can reach up to 11%, one of the highest in the nation. In addition to the income tax, Hawaii has a general excise tax on goods and services, which effectively acts as a sales tax and can reach up to 4.5%. These taxes can substantially reduce disposable income, making it difficult for residents to save or invest.